For the past month, I've been trained by some of BlockStyle's best players, and in today's video, I'll teach you everything that I've learned. No, I'm not talking about simple tips such as W tapping or how to punish crit, but I'm going to explain advanced techniques that the best BlockStyle players all abuse. So, if you're trying to improve on PvP, Bedwars, Skywars, or Pirates, then this video is made for you. And the only requirement is that you must have some basic knowledge on these BlockStyle game modes. And if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe because we're trying to get to 7,500 subscribers. Anyways, let's start with PvP. So, the first trick is to crit your opponent when they're running or healing. You might be asking, why crit them? Well, when they're running or healing, they can't fight you back. So, it allows you to drop their health bar without you taking damage. So, critting your opponent when they're running will improve your chances of winning a PvP fight. Next up, you can crouch when your opponent is sprint hitting you. When you crouch right when they hit you, it cancels majority of the knockback. You can utilize this to start a combo, like this example. Overall, this is one of the most effective ways to knockback reset. Now, one obvious but essential tip, strafing. What strafing does is it makes you harder to be aimed and comboed by your opponent. All you have to do is add A and D to your movement. This will make you more tricky to be comboed. You know, when you PvP, it might be a bit hard to focus on your opponent. Well, if your PC can handle the lag, then you could zoom out. This is so your focus is more clear and can improve your PvP. But some people, it makes them worse at PvP. It's up to your own preferences, but I recommend it. Next up, you can sprint hit your opponent to knock them further back. To do this, you must sprint forward, then hit your opponent. What makes this useful? Sprint hits deal way more knockback than critical hits or sweep hits, and that makes it easy to start combos or to counter knockback resetting. Another easy way to beat your opponent is to know what are their weaknesses and use it against them. Like if a player is weak aiming left but is strong at aiming right, then make sure to be on their left of the screen or use D a lot more. Cause if they're weak on the left and you're on their left, you have a greater chance of beating them as compared to being on their right. Now, one advanced tip to beat your opponent is simply mixing up your movement. Let's say if you're just circling around a player, left then right, eventually the player will catch on and know your movements. But if you mix up, your movements will make it unpredictable, and especially if you're PvPing that person multiple times, it will help you win. Finally, spacing. You don't want to be that player PvPing your opponent one block away, not knowing where you're hitting out. And just by spacing you and your opponent around 3 blocks can have a major impact on starting and avoiding combos. Now that I've taught you some advanced techniques on PvP, let's move on to the next chapter of the video, Bedwars. So you know when you have Moonstone in Bedwars, and you're like, what upgrades do I buy with this? Well, don't be mayhem saying, Prog got nerfed and damage got buffed. Well, me and Catboy tested it out, and protection was actually way better than damage. And it actually protected more than the extra damage the damage upgrade gives you. So, whenever you're in a Bedwars game, make sure to go for protection too before thinking about buying damage. Now, let's say you're in a game of Bedwars, and you just happen so to have 2 diamonds in your inventory. You might be asking yourself, should I buy a plum or 2 coconuts? Well, the answer is to buy 2 coconuts. Let's say this game. With coconuts, you can escape very tight situations, and if your opponent is running, you could easily kill them now, because you're way faster than them. And especially in sweaty games, these will come in clutch. So trust me, get coconuts. You will thank me later. The next Bedwars advanced tip is to simply keep your bed defense simple. There's no need for insanely complex bed defenses. All you need is to do a 1-layer wool defense. And trust me, just by doing this, you could rush your first opponent way faster, giving you a massive advantage against them. Now, like the coconut tip, using your diamonds correctly is essential. If you have 1 or 2 diamonds, buy coconuts. If you have 6 diamonds, would you go for diamond armor or a diamond sword with 2 coconuts? Obvious answer, get the diamond sword with 2 coconuts. Cause later when you get iron armor, you're way better off with this as compared to diamond armor. And orbs, they are only useful when your bed is gone. Otherwise, don't buy orbs. Just by simply using your diamonds correctly can have a great influence at your Bedwars game and can make you better at it. Just now, let's say you're trying to get a hard to break bed with sweats defending it. Well, boxing yourself is a great approach to break their bed. Reason why is because if there are sweats defending, it would be very hard to break the bed unless you have some time to break through the defense. By boxing yourself into the bed, you can get some time to break their bed, then kill them. Especially you should do this on beds that are covered in obsidian. Next, let's assume you need to be propelled very high in a fast amount of time. You could just easily build this ladder contraption. Just by crouching on the corner of these 2 ladders, you could be propelled tens of blocks. This can be used to get onto high ground in a quick amount of time. Now, let's say you're towering up and you have an opponent laddering up. You could easily slow them down by doing something me and Catboy invented, anti-tower. All you need to do is simply block around a circle, and that's the main weakness of ladders. And if you're in this situation, then just do the anti-tower to counter people using ladders. Okay, this advanced technique is a kind of fun way to troll a person. So all you need is TNT. Now, go to their base and make sure there's a player defending the bed. Now, place an explosive near the bed. Then, knock them near a trajectory where the TNT explodes, and it will knock them into the void, like this clip from my Hall of Fame montage. And once they fall, break their bed, and you just got an elimination on them. After teaching you some advanced techniques in Bedwars, you should be a lot better than before. Other than that, we're only halfway in this video, and the next chapter is Skywars. First, simple but useful tip is to straightforwardly play on the correct maps. Food, cube, Lego, roads. These maps are easier to get kills and is more efficient for your time. Let's say castle. You have to bridge a lot and getting kills is painfully long. So just by playing on these correct maps can make you become better at Skywars. Since you're playing on good maps, there may be more good players. So if you get low from them and need to run, fireballs are an advanced technique to escape those situations. And if you could handle the damage of the fireball, then you can easily escape far from your opponent and therefore survive. Now, one of the most important techniques that can make you very good at Skywars is use all of your resources and efficiently. Since in Skywars, you will encounter lots of resources. You should use all of it by the end of the game. Like if you have a pair, use it when PvPing a good player. Just by simply doing this can make you survive tight situations and get more kills out of the game. Let's say you're playing against a good Skywars player. They often will keep a distance from you, and they do this so they can get some bow shots on you. So, the next advanced technique is to use bows against good players. When you are fighting a good player, just getting an extra hit on them is crucial to killing them. Next, an advanced technique that can easily get your opponents killed when chasing you is to block off after your clutch. Let's say you're on Lego. If you quickly block off a wall, you can easily get them killed with a void. And just say 90% of the time, it's a guaranteed easy kill on them. If you played Skywars before, do not underestimate nets. With a technique I'm about to show, you could easily kill your opponents just with a net. So if you can trap your opponent in a net, you could do one of 2 things. 1. Crit them to death. Or 2. Place a moonstone explosive and run. Nets make this task very easy, and if you have them, make sure to use them. And that's not the only use. Let's say you missed a jump on the ice map. You can easily clutch on a wall, and then place blocks under you and survive. That's for rare scenarios, but it's effective. Now, in a Skywars game, you don't want to be that player who just goes for loot and doesn't care about players. Loot is a minor thing. Your main goal is to kill players and win the game. So, don't focus for loot, and focus on killing all the players over the loot. This is a mistake that most intermediates make, and is a reason why they don't have good stats. After explaining the advanced Skywars techniques that can make you a lot better, now, let's move on to the final chapter, Pirates. The first tip of becoming a great player at Pirates is to use Fireballer Kit. This kit is built too OP. You have fireballs to kill players and knock yourself, and the fireballs even regenerate your health at a fast rate. All of these features make Fireballer Kit more overpowered than other kits. Following up the Fireballer Kit, fireballs are absolutely overpowered. They have 3 major uses. 1. To easily kill players. 2. To knock yourself. 3. To heal yourself quick. Fireballs, to be honest, in the Fireballer Kit, make other kits seem unfair and useless. Another advanced technique that most good Pirates players use is when you're on low HP and need to escape. Knockback potions are the only thing making sure you will survive. Instead of fireballs making you take a lot of damage, knockback potions don't make you take damage. If you use this correctly, you could easily escape from tight situations. Next, a tip that all the good Pirates players say is keep moving and don't stop. Even I agree with this technique. If you keep moving, it'll be hard for enemies to kill you. And even when you're not moving, you could be easily killed. Let's say in a 4-teams Pirates game, there is a person towering very high, and you're very far from them. An easy way to kill them or knock them off is to press V and zoom in. Put your cursor 10 to 15 blocks above them, and fire some fireballs. And if they don't notice, the fireballs will hit them and knock them off. One very useful technique that all good players tell is, go for hard protectors, then get the easier ones. Like in Pirates 2 teams, the inner protectors are usually harder to break because it's very hard to knock opponents out. Finally, only on the map, Classic 4 teams. If you join Green Team and bridge 5 to 10 blocks to middle, you could fireball and reach overpowered chests. Once you're at the chest, try to find 2 items, a gold axe and a moonstone orb. After, fireball up and orb to the nearest enemy base and start destroying their protectors. This was a great strategy I used on Mayhem when destroying his protectors fast. Now, after explaining all of these advanced techniques, you should have a better idea on becoming a better players at any of these 4 game modes explained. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and let's try to get 7,500 subscribers. And if you want to play block style with me, then make sure to check out my live streams. I usually stream on Saturdays, so stay tuned for those. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to check out for this video. Bye!